Welcome to the Easy Project with your boy Eddie.
And your boy zebbyt. This podcast is about athletes transitioning into business and also the business leaders around the Gold Coast.
And Zebby and I have played NRL for 10 plus years.
And we're utilising the skills that we've learned over our NRL career to inspire others to chase their dreams and goals. Let's go.
Welcome to the Easy Project with my boy Zebby and myself. And we've got our special guest here, Fetuli Talanoa.
Yes, nice.
Let's
Got our brother, Fetuli Talanoa in
Throw him
the
his
building.
flowers, mate. Throw him his flowers.
Hey, Buzz, we've got the flowers here, man. Let's go. Okay, Buzz, raised in New Zealand, Auckland, East Auckland.
Yep.
You're of Tongan descent, played over 223 games in the NRL and the Super League. We scored over 100 tries. Say that. Scored 100 tries across the NRL and the Super League. Played for Tonga, Mate Matonga, that is, on the international stage. An ambassador of the Gold Coast Tongan Rugby League.
Nice.
And a big advocate for the youth in our communities. Welcome to the Easy Project, my man, Fetuli Talanoa. Let's go.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, boys.
Yeah, bro.
It's
How
good
you
to
been,
have
Buzz?
man.
How you been?
What's been happening?
Yeah, good. Good things are going good. You know, it's one of those things where life after footy is an everyday thing. You know, and every day you're trying to keep to your routine and your structures and it's so busy. You know, as we were training and we're in the footy side of things, I guess that's helped. It's helped me in life itself with the routine and the structures. So it's handy that I got to do that at a young age through footy.
Nice, man. Hey, like you're a coach now for the Tugun Seahawks.
Yeah, shout out to the Seahawks. Reserve grade.
How's that been?
Yeah, we got our first loss on the weekend. Onwards and upwards, boys.
That's it, eh?
That's it.
What kind of coach are you? Are you like are you the one percenters, set for set, kick it in the corners, kick chase, or you just play off the cuff and just play whatever you see up front?
Yeah, it's pretty. I'm pretty much one of the boys. I'm just one of the boys. That's reserve grade, so I don't really want to put the Wayne Bennett on them, or the Michael Maguires. So you know, I'm all about the morale. Morale's
that's
up. Let's go.
I heard your assistant coach is a bit of he carries on a bit.
He's our morale officer. And I have to kind of calm him down a few times, speaking to the touchies and the refs. So.
He's a classic.
It's crazy, like, you know, when you do have it in your head sometimes. Like, I might go have a crack at being a coach. So I thought, you know, thinking long and hard about being a coach, I guess I'd be that one. I'd be that dude.
Yeah.
Nah, bro, I'm going to be zero. Hey, kick it in the corners, complete your sets. Hey, earn the right.
I don't know. There's some whispers going on
about
Tools flogging the boys through preseason. Is that true?
So the boys have done. We did it at his house. We did the 6-4-2 Malcolms, and then we added on the Super Malcolm. They were like, "What's a Super Malcolm?" Oh, you'll find out soon. Yeah. So it's 20 meters either way.
Ooh.
Yeah, but you only do 4 of them, so it's the same amount of times you go down and up, and the same time to complete it. So it was a bit of a shock to the system
for the lads.
for our boys. So but they got it done. They got it done.
Oh, that's hectic.
What's it like now? Are you still playing? Man, you can still play, bro.
Yeah, looking fit, mate.
Like, what's it go? You haven't, man, like, it's crazy when I came back from the Super League, and I was, man, Tools is up here. What's he doing? He's playing for Tugun Seahawks.
Yeah.
Being a regular in their A-grade team.
Mate.
So what's that? Do you just chime in whenever, eh?
Yeah, well, I wanted to chime in at half time. We were behind there. I was like, anyone got some spare boots? But yeah, I'll play some games this year. I like to keep the legs moving, you know, and be around the footy boys. I think it's good for myself and good for the boys down at the club.
Hey,
That's awesome.
I've got a story. Toops, Clinton Torpy, shout out to you, brother. A couple of years back, he was a coach at Helensvale.
The Hornets.
Bro, he done what he wanted to do. Jumped on at half time, had a run with the boys. Bro. He was saying, what's going on here, bro? He goes, I had to, bro. I had to show them the way.
He's still playing now, isn't he?
Man, that's so funny, eh?
That's good. Well, let's start off, man. Well, give us a rundown of your childhood and, you know, how you started with your family up in New Zealand.
Yeah, so my journey starts in East Auckland, Glen Innes, and it's a low income earning like town.
Yeah.
And then you have the low income, and then you have the New Zealand housing. and that's the area I grew up in. So it was a bit tough growing up. I didn't see that as a kid. It was just a fun place to grow up for me, but a lot of people saw it as a rough neighborhood.
Yeah.
But as a child, I didn't see that. I actually enjoyed it. And like growing up, my dad was always looking for like a job. My mum had to raise 7 of us at the time on a benefit. So like Centrelink, and that was pretty tough, you know. So it was tough times, but I learnt at a young age that if you couldn't afford it, I'm going to go get it.
Yeah.
So then one day, 9 years old, I walk into Pack and Save, and then I just filled up these bags, grocery bags, and I go to walk out, and I got caught. Then I look at the guy, he was a church member. And then my first thought was, I was like, oh no, like my mum's going to find out, you know. So then they call the police, I get taken to the police station, and then I walk into the police station, and they have this wall there, and then it's got like all the like past criminals and then previous offenders, and I swear I could like name and show them where that person, 90% of them stayed.
True.
So, and that's like my area I grew up in.
Yeah.
But I didn't see it as that growing up.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Far out, man. So that, what a journey, eh?
Yeah, what a journey. So when did the love for obviously sports and, you know, rugby league, or what was rugby league back then? When did that start for you, bro?
So growing up, I did participate in like union, but it wasn't to like, there was no aspirations to become like a sports star. It was just because in New Zealand, everyone played it. And that's how you made your friends. And so my mum saw the early signs of me going down like a bad path because it was just escalating. It started with little like stealing, and then it escalated to like car theft, robbery, armed robbery. And this is all before the age of 15.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So I was going downhill real quick because where I grew up, we glorified the gang members and the drug dealers, you know, because they had a name in the street. You know, everyone respected them. So we were like, that's our way out. You know, that was our own, that's the role models we saw, you know. And there were positive role models, but they were weird to us because they weren't what we saw in the street or in our neighborhoods every day. So my mum saw the signs early, and she sent me and my little brother in 2004 to Australia here to stay with my auntie. And I thought it was a 2-week holiday.
Yeah.
So I was like, I've never been on a plane, get to travel, get to go to Australia. I was like, how good is this? We touched down about 2 weeks, and then the 2 weeks comes up, I call my mum, and then she's like, son, like, and I will never forget this phone call.
Yeah.
She was like, son, I only bought you a one-way ticket, and that ticket is a way for you to change your life.
Wow.
Like, you go over there and you make something of yourself. Like, don't look back here. Don't look back at the struggle. Don't look back where we grew up, and I don't want you to ever go through that ever again.
Yeah.
And, like, that phone call today is like a constant reminder, and it grounds me every day that was like a turning point in my life.
Yeah.
You know, so I arrived here 2004, and my auntie enrolls us into a school, Waverley College in Bondi Junction. So it's a private school. It's an awesome school, very good rugby union school. Yeah. And I jump off the back of my little brother Mark. So we go to the interview, and because he was playing rep in New Zealand and that, so one of the teachers there knew of him. So they were like, sweet, we need to get this kid in our program. And they just asked me they said, do you play rugby? And I went, yeah. I went, yeah, I play. So then we ended up getting the scholarship. I ended up playing first 15, and that's where I met Eddie Payer. So I meet him there at the school, and he was like, hey, man, I think you should come down on a Sunday mascot.
Yeah.
And then he was like, try it. It's good. It's better than rugby. And I said, oh, are they good? And he said, mascots are the best team in Australia. He's a mascot advocate. He's MSP for life. Shout out to MSP. So and that's where it started. My first game of rugby league was the under-16s with Ed. That's where I met Ed and that. But then those boys were the Harold Matthews. They're still playing the Harrow Matthews, and I was still learning rugby league in general. My first game was terrible. I didn't know how to play the ball, offsides. But my first training session there, like you could just feel the culture there, and it made me gravitate towards that, especially being new to a country where I did not know anyone. I didn't have friends. So it was a way for me to connect with people and find something like that phone call that my mum said.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's goosebumps, bro.
I
But
know.
thanks for sharing, man. Like, when you think about let's take it back to your youth days, like back in New Zealand. Like, that's crazy to think that, like, your mum seen that.
Caught it. Yeah.
Caught it early. Like, it's crazy, man. Like, how does, what was the feeling like when your mum did tell you that, knowing that you would have been homesick, you wanted to go back? What was that like? Like, thinking, did you accept it straight away, or did it take time?
Yeah, like it's gone on 20 odd years now, and whenever I talk about or I reflect on that phone call, it automatically brings me to like a day where I had to step up and like man up and build a path for myself. Also, because I had my little brother that he can like follow in my footsteps, because we just never. And I was going off the cuff because I never knew. I didn't have a plan of what route to take. All I knew was growing up was if I don't have it, I'm gonna go take it.
Yeah.
There was never like hard work. There was never one step at a time. 2 steps back is all right. But I was just used to, if there's 2 steps back, you run or you change it. You know what I mean? So, and I guess it's a mother's love, you know.
Yeah.
That phone call, it was. I didn't see it at the time. I was like, oh, man, you know, like just taking away from my friends. My safe place was growing in a rough neighborhood. I feel comfortable in there.
Yeah.
You know, I feel calm in the chaos. That was my safe place.
Yeah.
Growing up in New Zealand housing, and being in an environment where it was okay to like be out late at night. You know, it was safe. You know, do things that I wasn't used to. So then, that phone call, like I said, still today, it automatically grounds me, and it's a constant reminder of me keeping on my path and my track.
Man, that's crazy,
That's
man.
crazy.
That's crazy. So you came to Australia. You had to find your way through with your brother, and you being the eldest, you want to make sure that, you know, your younger brother follows you, and you took the path of rugby league in Mascot. Like, because I remember meeting you and I was like, bro, who's this guy with this big ass afro, man? He's a machine, you know what I mean? So,
The afro's gone now.
hey, take the hats off.
Yeah, the hairline king here, bro. Talking about hairlines and that.
But I mean, like you taking that path, and I remember you sharing us your journey when you first moved over. We always knew that you had something in you. And I remember being that me, Eddie Payer, and yourself, and a few of the other lads, we always rode that wave together playing. And then obviously you were a year older than us, so every time we were playing Harrow match, you had to play like obviously SG ball or Jersey flag. But I remember you just flying through those years. Like he came 2004 and then obviously gone off to play debut in 2006, 2 years.
2 years, man.
You know what I mean? So like, how was that journey after that? So playing in rugby league at South, rugby union, what was it, union or league? You just went forward on league?
I think while I was at school, I was still finding like that path, and it was good. It was a good thing that I had those options,
Yeah.
you know, and then I was in control of which route I went down. So that was a good thing I had going for me. And then, like you said, Dad, like the rapid rise of it, I was still learning the game. First game in 2004, you know, I get put in the 2005 top squad, and I get to train with them. And then 2006, like I get a call from Sean McRae. Yeah. He actually didn't have my number. So one of the boys, Ricky Young, called me. I thought they were pranking me. So then, Ricky Young calls me and he was like, hey, what are you doing? And I was like, nah, nothing, man. And he was like, do you know you're playing this weekend? And I said, yeah, whatever, man. Hung up on him.
Yeah.
And then he called again. He was like, bro, what's your number? Sean McRae wants to call you. And I gave him my number. And then Sean McRae called, and I thought it was Ricks again, putting on a voice. I was like, yeah, whatever, man, hung up on him. Yeah. And then he called me again. He was like, no, this is Sean McRae from the South Sydney Rabbitohs. You're going to make your debut. Wow. And then, like, after that, I was just like, you know, it's probably like one of the times where, probably after my kids were born, like the only time that the world stood still, you know, for me, where, and I was just like, man, this is happening for me. This is like a massive step for me to take, and I didn't realize how big of a step it was until maybe like 5-6 years into my career playing footy.
Yeah.
You know, so I was there, made my first grade debut at Brookvale Oval against Manly. Came off the bench in centre, so got through the game, and it was probably what I remember of that debut was. So you guys remember that cage that you have to run through?
Yeah.
It wasn't blocked off back then. So then you got guys like screaming at you, and I was like, whoa, like I'm actually here. You know, they're like, you suck, sounds of shit. I was like, I'm just here to play some footy. It's my debut, bro. Be nice. So it was a rapid rise, and I didn't really have time to like reflect on it. Especially early on, because I was still learning my craft, and Souths were at a building stage at that point. And Ed will know. But I was also thankful that I got to do it with my best mates. You know, Ed and Eddie, you know, come up through the juniors, and then we get to put on the first grade jersey together. You know, I think that's also a moment that I still cherish till this day.
Yeah. True. Like I remember like when Tools got called up, because I remember he was always an age above us. But when he started like going playing jersey flag, prems, and when you made your debut, that time, bro, we were like pumped for you, celebrating. We're like, bro, one of the boys made it from mascot. And that was a proud moment for all of us, because then he pivoted that way, and we were like, bro, that's the only, we got to follow him. And then hopefully one day create history and play together, which was a proud moment.
Yeah. How good, man! Like, so run me through the actual. You know, we talk about you made your debut. So what year was that again?
2006.
2006. Yeah. Damn, you're still only a baby, bro.
Yeah.
Because I debuted in 2006, and I don't know how, I'm a couple of years. I'm a lot older than you, bro. Bro, like how old were you? 40, I didn't. How old were you when you debuted? Like,
I was turning 19 in November.
Okay, 19. Yeah. So you're still considered very young. How did you handle, you know, being in the spotlight? You know, obviously, South mascot, South Junior, everything. What does it look like the next couple of years for you? Like going through, you know, you're establishing yourself, right? At the Rabbitohs.
Yeah, like I said, it was such a rapid rise, man. I could not stop and think. Hey, I was just in awe that like I'm actually like taking a step in the right path. Yeah, you know. But I knew at any second or at any given day, I could be reminded of how I grew up, and I could just easily just rail, take that exit and go back to my old ways. Yeah. So I just had to constantly be like on my game, on and off the field, especially off the field, because that's where I found I could easily switch off and go back to the Glenn Innes me. But yeah, I didn't really have time to like to stop and think and plan, because you guys know what footy is like. It's a whole year. It's very time consuming. Yeah. And I had no idea of time managing and like balancing. I didn't have a family at the time, so it was pretty much just footy and then home, and that's all it was. Yeah.
Sorry. Because you can think about it, like, you know, you are growing up in the city still. Like, it's still easily to get influence with your surroundings. So, like, we talk about environment. Like, you know, are you grateful that you had the people around you then to steer you in the right direction? You know what I mean? Like guys like Eddie and Eddie Peo and all that. Like, were they your safe place, or who was your who were the dudes that made you stay on the right track?
That played a massive part, like that environment, and Ed will back me on this one. We had a coach, Robert Sate, at mascot, and not only was he a coach, he was a great like figure for us, young boys. He used to pick us up from training, tell us the importance of getting to training and on time, and just all the good values, I think. So like Sadie was a good figure for me, and also having like good friends around me, my support. So for me that was it was new, but I liked the feeling of it. That I found like a little community and a belonging, and that we had Sadie also just instilling those values of discipline and all those things that benefited us.
That's mad, man. Because I remember when, like, I want to go back to the debut. How was the emotions, but also mum and dad and the family back there? Like, how was the feeling to tell mum and that and say, "I made it"?
Yeah, I just got goosebumps then. Yeah, it was like I said, like it was a standstill.
Yeah,
Like it was literally the whole world just stopped, and you could hear like a pin drop, and it took about 5 minutes, and then I went and told my mum, and then I was like, "Mum, I'm making my debut," and she was like, "What day is it?" I said, "It's on Sunday." She was like, "Oh, I got church." I was like, she was like, "I'll pray for you Sunday, okay? God is with you." I was like, "Oh, thanks, Mum."
So was she over here by then?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, she only came over to visit.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not what I expected, but I just took it as it is, you know, with her, because she was very religious, so yeah, she chose to go to church.
It's all right,
that's
man.
all good, man.
That's all
Hey,
good, man.
that's all good.
It's
Yeah,
the household,
100%.
bro. Polynesian household, man.
So you go on to, obviously, you played, you know, nearly close to 100 games with the Rabbitohs. Now you have the choice. So obviously you did a transition in that period as well. So after South, you went in to do a bit of work. How was that, that transition phase from there?
Yeah, I think, like...
Yeah, what were you feeling as well? Yeah.
So I, like, shot up to, like, 95 games before the age of, like, 23.
Crazy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it all got cut from me. You know, Michael Maguire calls me that morning, 2011, and he says, this is after round 2.
Yeah.
He said, "I'm not going to be part of the plan moving on." I still had 2 years on my contract.
Yeah.
And I'd never faced any kind of adversity like that before.
Yeah.
And I didn't plan for any of this to happen. Or I didn't have a plan for when this happens, I fall back on it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I did find I had to transition at 23 years old, and I didn't have anything. You know what I mean? And it was scary at the time because I had my 2 daughters then and my partner, Christy, and I had a family to feed.
Yeah.
You know, and that feeling of, like, my income, my world, and what I knew for the past 7-8 years has just been taken away from me just like that. So it was a scary place, and I didn't have the plan B. I just didn't, and it goes to show, like, how important it is to actually plan for that, because I was only 23 years old, and that's so young in footy. But what I did have was my in-laws, my father-in-law Steve. He's been a great support to me.
Yeah.
Especially in those times.
Yeah.
Because in those times I felt literally there was, like, my group from when I was playing, the support, like, narrowed down to, like, 3-4 people. True. You know, I still had my best friends, Ed and Eddie, still had Sadie. I had my partner, Christy was my rock.
Yeah.
But then the circle just narrowed down, and then makes you feel like a lot more lonely, eh? So the negative thoughts get a lot louder.
Yeah.
You know. So Steve helped me out. He was on the garbage run down in Waverley. So he was like, "Man, let's just get you some income, like, come turning over for now." So I went, sweet, jumped on the garbo run down Waverley, and then I stayed on there for a year, and it honestly gave me a different perspective to life. You know, it made me feel like coming from the highs to the low, it honestly made me feel like, and that was like my first job, like working wise, because I kind of came into footy straight away. And it made me be grateful for those people who make an honest living, who wake up every day, because we had to wake up at 4 a.m, finished at 9, but made me realize that those guys out there who make an honest living for their families, who are the providers, just what they go through, you know. And I'm glad I got that perspective at 23 years old, because after that perspective, I was so grateful for coming back into footy, and my view of life and having the importance of plan Bs was so important for me.
Yeah, 100%. So, man, what a crazy transition. You had a little taste of, you know, what life was like after footy, but then you obviously get a contract to go play at the Hull FC in the Super League. How was the Hull FC, mate? How was Super League there?
Yeah, look, I was around October, and then Roy Asatasi calls me and he's like, "Hey, do you want to come back and play?" And at first I was like, you know what, man, like I'm okay where I'm at.
Yeah.
You know, I'm actually loving my life where I'm at and what's happening. And he said, "No, it's over in the Super League." So I was like, you know what, change of environment, you know, let's go see the other side of the world.
Yeah.
And I took it on, and they offered me 1 year. So I went over there on a 1 year contract trial and see how I go, and then I ended up staying there for 6 years. You know, so, and I enjoyed it. I loved it, and I got to enjoy my footy, got to see the world, but I also had in the back of my head that plan B. You know, and that kind of reassured me while I was over there, because any given day that coach could call me and go, "We don't need you," because I was only on the 1 year. So that experience of going through that transition, you know, that still resided in me, even though I had a contract. Yeah.
Wait, let's go back to that. Sorry, I had to take you back again. Like that mindset of like, we're massive on mindset here. You know, it's not easy getting that phone call from Michael Maguire saying that you're not part of the plans. You know, we've all had that before. But what's the mindset like? Like, you know, are you still in that, nah, stuff this, I'm going to prove you wrong? Or do you fold? Like, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people do. They just get, oh, well, sweet then, that was good while it lasted.
Yeah,
you know?
at the time when he called me into his office and we spoke face to face, and, you know, my world just dropped.
Yeah.
It dropped, and he gave me the option to leave, but I told him I will finish this year off with the boys, because I've started here. I've come through the juniors. This is my senior club. You know, I still want to represent the Rabbitohs in first grade. And he just said, "You're not going to ever play first grade here, no matter how hard you try." So that was another knife that just like ripped me open.
That's so sad.
At about 23 years old. And I said before, I'd never faced that adversity being at the club. And I know how it works, you know. It would happen. I just didn't realize it would happen to me like that. So at the time, my mindset was, I'm going to finish this year. You know, I'm going to finish this year on my terms. I'm gonna stick to this. I'm gonna turn up to training. I'm not gonna. I felt like if I left, it would be leaving the boys and training. I just didn't give a fuck about the boys. So, and my mindset to try and get back in the team, that was like cut short when he said, "You're not going to play first grade ever again here."
Yeah, true.
So I kind of went down a road where I eased up on my discipline and my, you know, aspirations to like compete. You know, so then they moved me to the Bears. They registered me to the Bears, and then you go from being around that group like for the last 7-8 years to like only training like with them maybe twice a week, you know, and you got to travel to North Sydney and you know, at training you're just holding pads, you know, you're just a number there, and just
that's the shit thing about rugby league. Like when you're in that professional environment, knowing that like when someone's got so much power over your role within the team, and they just say that. Man, I remember like Tools. You were the established winger for the
ages.
Rabbitohs.
Yeah.
You were it, and then boom, out of nowhere, where's this guy gone?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, bro, I feel for you. Like, and you didn't get to, you're a couple of games short of 100 games.
Yeah.
That would have pissed me off.
Yeah.
That would have pissed me off big time.
Yeah.
Knowing that, frick, I've got 100 games coming up soon, and then you're gonna tell me that I can't be a part of it.
But I think even just writing that, like, regardless if it's 100 or 1,000 games, even if you play one game, you should be proud of yourself. And I think 95 games is a huge accomplishment. And obviously to where you... Because I remember that time when you were going through that, and I was scared too for you, and I was scared for myself, because you just start thinking in the back of your mind, how am I going to deal with this? Because every footy player should start thinking about life after footy, even if you're 23, because, man, it can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
You can debut at 18, have a mad 4 or 5 year career, and then you'll get cut short just like that. And yeah, you're right. Having that plan B is so important, man, because the boys or anyone that's in that field need to start thinking about the backup plan.
Yeah. Let's fast forward back to the Super League now. Like, I remember you playing in Super League. We crossed paths a lot of times. I was playing for the Catalan Dragons. You were playing for Hull FC. We had some good battles, and even some good meetups after the games too. Like, man, tell us about the whole city. Man, we got some good stories about the whole city, bro. And I want our audience to know about the place Hull.
Yeah, Hull is a different place. I didn't expect Hull to be Hull.
Yeah.
Before I went over there, the boys were like, "Oh, well, did you sign up Hull FC?" Ooh, like, they didn't even give me an explanation. They just went, "Ooh, it's a tough one." So then I was like, "Oh, couldn't be that bad." And then you get there and you're like, "Oh, this is what they mean." It is a different place. But the people there, like, it took me about maybe 3 to 4 weeks to really get engaged in the community over there, and they just love rugby league. That's all they have. They have just generations of like support for Hull FC, and it's divided in twos. So like, when we had our derbies, and you
crazy.
lost, you just couldn't walk through you couldn't even do your shopping. I did mine online or said the missus. Said the missus. I had like a Hull FC card with the sponsors on it.
With your name on it too?
After my first derby and we lost, I said, I want to change my car. People were just blocking me on the road, blocking me. I was like, come on, man. It's cold outside, bro. I don't want to get out of the car.
What an experience there, man.
How good was your crew, man? I loved their crew. They had you had Mickey, you had Feka. Who was good? Seta Marasa.
They had a crew.
They had a crew.
Carlos was there. Was Carlos there too?
Carlos was there. And Frankie and Sika.
That's right.
Come over a bit later.
Yeah.
We had Stevie Michaels, Mini.
Stevie Michaels.
Mini. So we had a good overseas crew, which kind of made it feel like home, you know. So
what about Mickey Paya? He was a whole KR dude and went across the Hull FC, bro. Every time Mickey runs out, when we do the derby, they go, Judas. Judas the whole game. They didn't let go of it. Even after 3 years, they were still calling it Judas. Shout out to Mickey, bro.
I know,
I love that dude.
Bro, you killed it, man. So I remember you in the scene, and I remember flying in, and I went to Wigan, and I seen you. But this guy was famous as, bro, in the Hull FC. Like,
bro.
He was
anyone that plays for Hull FC,
knew Talanoa,
you're A-lister, bro.
He made a name for himself.
They got Hull City Tigers as a football team? Nah, bro. The rugby league team's bigger than the football team.
100%. And I remember just seeing you thriving, but I was so proud for you because I was like, you've been through so much, and then come there and enjoy your footy was the best feeling for me to see you play. Yeah. But then you go on and win a championship. How was that, bro? In Wembley. Was it Wembley?
Wembley Challenge Cup, eh? How many did you get?
So we got the 2015, 2016. 2016, 17, sorry.
You get back to back?
Yeah, we went back to back.
That's mad.
That's mad.
Yeah.
Wait, tell us
How
about
was that?
Yeah, like that Challenge Cup, you boys know what it's like.
It's mad.
It's
huge.
A lot of the people there hold it above the Super League trophy, you know. And our first year, 2016, we had like the hardest, like we had the toughest, like draw. We had St. Helens first, and then at the time we had Catlins second, and Toddy was there, Chris was there, and they were killing there. I think they were second on the ladder, and then we had Wigan in the semis, in the final semi. Sorry. So just our journey there alone, you know, was massive for the club and for the town.
Yeah.
Like the build up of it, and to finally get down to Wembley, I'd never been there before, and I didn't realise like the atmosphere of it. Like did our training run before game day, and you look around and it's like you can see how empty it is, but how big it is. And then you get to game day, and you know it's just filled with like Hull FC like supporters, you know, and it was just like it was crazy. It was surreal, eh? It was surreal. Like knowing that they play the soccer games there, the big FA Cups and that, there, you know, Premier League and that, you know, and just to be on there and to win it the way we did, it really came down to the wire, you know, in those games. So we win the game, we go back to the hotel, we celebrate, we get on the bus, we get back to Hull, and then literally the whole town was like in there in the town centre, and like it was crazy, the atmosphere, just seeing the people's emotions of that one cup, you know, that they've been waiting like half their life for it. You know, you got grandparents and like sons and daughters and that, like saying the same thing. Just what you could give back to them, that feeling of like winning it down there for them, because they'd never won at Wembley. So it was the first time they won down there, which was also like special to be a part of, man. So real passionate town, and I loved my time there in Hull. I'd go back there just to visit, maybe a week or two. Not that long.
In the summer, eh?
The summer.
So you get to do the country hopping at the same time.
100%. Nah, that's mad. And then you go back to back, man.
Yeah,
it's like that's the best feeling, eh?
100%.
Winning a championship.
Especially a Challenge Cup. Never got to win one.
Me either, man. Far out. All right, man. So we go to, now you've transitioned. So obviously Super League. You've come back to Australia. How was that? This big topic here.
Yeah. Look, that transition from this time round, it was on my terms that I got to leave. Yeah. So I retired over there 2018. I was still contracted, but I got injured. But then I did have a choice to stay back and return to playing. But the back of my mind, I was like, another year here is just delaying, you know, the inevitable that, you know, life after footy is waiting for me right there. And I did have a sense of a plan where what industry I wanted to work in. And that was working with the youth. So, but I just didn't know what sector, or I didn't really have the connections because I was overseas. You know, I was working with people over there. I did qualifications over there, but I had to redo them over here because they couldn't change over. So I did have a plan, which was good for me because the first time I didn't at 23. So then I make my way back here, and then I just I did some concreting just to get some money rolling in. And it was pretty difficult to find like a company that'll hire me. You know, going off the back of my work experience, I didn't have any here in Australia. So I finally landed a gig at Uniting Care as a care practitioner in residential. We just support disadvantaged kids, which I find I have a gift for in life. And it's been fulfilling since I started. Every day is a challenge, and I kind of feel like because of that drop from the highs to the highs in normal life, there's such a massive gap between it, and even just the emotions of you go to training pumped up, like get to see the boys compete. You know, we're gonna like train hard. I can release some of that aggression.
Yeah.
Where in work, I can't be turning up to like work and bum slapping my coworkers. Yeah, let's go. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
This guy.
Come on, take it.
Not me, bro.
This guy, bro.
He's touching my on that training.
Shame. G-rated here, bro.
Hey, Charles, gonna get some emails in there. But yeah, like you can't take over those qualities. But you could take over the qualities that you do to learn team environments, discipline, communication skills is massive in the workplace. So those kind of things, those values that I learned through footy, just helped me fit in to the work life. But I was just finding, my problem was I found it hard finding the connections, the people, to really just connect the dots for me.
Yep.
There was dots that I had, but I couldn't connect them until I started making like those connections, and then slowly one by one, it just led to, a direction that I wanted to head to.
That's what you got to do, man. Like, as we always say that, you got to get out there and have a crack. So that's obviously what you did. Like, went out, source a place where you can do that type of youth development stuff and that. Like, and man, it's not easy what you do, bro. Like, full credit to, like you hear about the term resi care and it's some of these kids are really from really poor backgrounds. I'm saying poor backgrounds, but they've had some traumatic upbringings, and you've got to be really trained in that area to be able to. What's the word? Tough skin. You gotta have tough skin and to be able to do it. And like obviously with your experiences as a young kid, do you find that helps?
Oh, massively.
Yeah.
I find I relate to these kids in so many areas in their young lives that I sometimes see myself in their shoes.
Yeah.
And it helps me massively with like helping them cope through these tough times.
Yeah.
And just giving them like a actual living example that you can make it through these tough times, especially what they're going through. And also just for me is just being, a lot of these kids just don't have that role model, just that one person.
Yeah.
They've had some bad experiences and terrible role models in their lives, and all they want is just one person that they can trust, and that's a win. That's a win when they come to you and they share their feelings and emotions. That's a massive win. And in this job, it's not about the big goals and the massive differences. It's about those small things where they will come sit next to you and just have a chat about life, or they tell you they've had a bad day. Instead of holding it in, they air it out. It's very it's fulfilling for me every day, and it gets me going every day, and that's my high these days. From the football field. That's my high, and that's my challenge is getting these kids to feel safe and to have that person in their life that's not going to give up on them.
Awesome,
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. Like obviously with all the kids and your experiences and you sharing that with them, it's amazing. Like I know being a kid, when you have a role model, you're looking for someone to to keep, because you're always gonna have your parents give you advice, but then it's always good to hear it from someone else.
Yeah.
And someone like yourself, blessing these kids with so much love and openness to share your story with them. It's so cool to see. And now I know that you're in this transition phase, and I know that you want to start something by yourself. Like, what is it for Tools now? What's the next thing for?
Yeah, so the plan now that I've got the connections and my dots are a lot clearer where I'm heading to. So I'm in the motion of applying to become a licensed NDIS provider.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And my service is to provide like different kinds of a different contrast to the normal provider.
Yeah.
Today, I feel my time in this industry, I've got to meet and I've got to see our kids engage in providers that probably don't suit them or don't really benefit the kids. So I've used that way and used that to really brainstorm and plan where I want to head my company towards.
Yeah.
And Yeah, like it's a 12 to 18 month process for the licensing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited and it just gives me time to really focus on the plan, the business plan.
Yeah.
Yep.
Make sure everything's covered by the time the license comes in.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
So it's ready to go.
That's awesome, man. Man, honestly, bro, like we always say to anyone that comes on here that's got the dreams or got the goals to go out and chase it, bro. Just go do it, man. Like, and like you said, it's always a process. It doesn't ever happen overnight. So I think you're on the right path, man, of like planning it well, making sure that you do your due diligence. So everyone says, do your due diligence.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, so proud of that.
Hard, 100%. And just sitting here having a chat about your journey and where you've come from to where you are now, it's amazing to see, man. I know you're going to touch a lot of lives, and I know a lot of people resonate with your story at the moment. But big one here, man, key message.
Hard.
Share
We love
any
our key messages, bro.
Key messages, man, that you can share with our audience.
Oh,
Sorry for putting you on the spot.
it's got me on the spot. Maybe if I had a few beers, I had a lot of key messages. But probably like the key message, like for me, that's helped me so far, especially with my transition, was the plan. There's the now, and there's the tomorrow, and there's the future. And it's okay to think of all three.
Yeah.
And just take that time to really just stop and really think about the plan,
Yeah.
because you just don't know what's going to happen.
100%.
You literally just don't know. It could all get taken away from you, like it did for me.
Yeah.
And with the second time round, I did have that plan. I did have dots on the table, or just having something there.
Yeah.
You know, and you can connect them later on.
Yeah.
You know, throw your ideas out, write them down, like just get them out there, get them out of your head, and then you can slowly get the actions as you go. And you can just go to your tempo. There's no rush.
Yeah.
It's just having something written down and ideas, options for you.
That's mad.
Nah, awesome, bro.
That's cool. That's bro.
Hey, man. Hey, we know you're a busy man. Thanks for giving up your time.
100%.
Just want to quickly shout out to all our sponsors, SMSF Learning Centre and Newbie Blanks for sponsoring us. And also, please like, share, and comment. This is a good one. If you've got any questions for us, drop them in the comments. Anything, Eddie?
No, just grateful for tools, man.
Grateful for
Good
the
to see
tools. The runaway
ready for the
king.
next phase, eh?
Is it the runaway king?
The runaway king, man, he used to score a try and then starts running like 50 meters that way. We're like, bro, we go.
Yeah.
Celebrating your mates.
I remember watching like a soccer game, and I was like, man, I want to do that. I want to get everyone to chase me.
The Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, there are times I remember it's always Eddie, don't run away when you score. I used to just run.
No, it's good.
Nah,
Thanks
sweet
for coming
brother.
down, man. Appreciate it, man.
Nah, I appreciate
Thanks
your
for
time,
sharing,
man.
mate.
Thanks for that.
Shout
Let's
outs.
go.
Yeah.